Hello, hello. It's Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, putting the last minute touches on my look. Yes, yes, I'm wearing this really kind of loud yellow top, but I felt like it. Hello, everyone. Hi, Laura. Hi, Sasha. So nice to see you. And Anna. Oh, and Catherine. So good to see you. Hello, let me invite Kay up to make sure she knows how to get on. Hi, Christian. Kristen, hi, everyone. Okay, here she is. Times, but hopefully that worked the first time. Let's see. There, it did. It worked the first time. Hi, Kay. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am good. Uh, I'm doing good. Yes. Yeah. This week, I'm so glad the Mars Uranus is over and it feels like finally feel like my life is getting under control, which is really nice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I've been feeling a little bit more time and spaciousness lately as well. I've had some blocks of unconstructed time where I'm not just working with the deadlines and the things that are overdue. So yeah, that's always a good feeling.
I'm like within 5 days of getting all my overdue stuff up to date.
Oh,
So we're
well,
going to turn the tables today and you're going to interview me. So I will let you take the lead.
okay. Well, I am. And what's happening here is that, as many of you know, I'm president of OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrology. And now I'm so happy that Celeste has come onto the board, and she is, really in charge of presentations and helping this whole educational process that we're doing with speaker series and OPA lives and her special transit talks. So she's just becoming more and more part of our faculty. And we're having a big conference. Well, actually, a boutique conference, big for us because we're excited about it. But it is in Utah, in Park City, which is up in the mountains, a very beautiful location. And in OPA retreats, it's really more of a retreat. We have, a gathering when we get there with a beautiful reception. We have a day of typical lectures, but then we have these 3-day immersion tracks where you spend the 3 days in a very small group working on an astrological subject. We have our peer groups where you learn how to be a much better, more professional astrologer. I'm teaching consulting skills. I have one space left in that. But there's this amazing group of astrologers, including Celeste, who will work with a group of 7 to 9 people on one deep astrological topic for the 3 days. We have people like, Anne Orderly and Lynn Bell coming from France, and we have Kira Sutherland, the noted medical astrologer, coming from Australia. And many of the tracks are filled up, by the way, by now, but there's still a few spaces left. And Celeste's track is called Moon Mastery. Celeste has talked to me here and there about what she does with the moon and how she puts a lot of emphasis on it and all the different techniques that she knows about the moon. And I thought it would be really fun today to turn the tables on her and to ask her to explain it. And, I know many times people who have a great wealth of knowledge in a certain area of astrology just like spitfire it out, and it's like, I do this and that goes here and that goes there. And many of you who are maybe learning astrology really know that, right? That it just seems like people are talking a foreign language, which it is a foreign language. But the moon, we all know the moon. And many of us have been following new moons and full moons forever. And we see how we're affected by the moon in different astrology signs for the couple of days it is, and then another sign and another sign. So, Miss Celeste Brooks, tell us about moon mastery and the different techniques that you're going to teach in this retreat. And first, I'll start with, how did you come to become entranced with the moon?
Yes, thank you so much, Kay. So yes, the moon. So first I should say, one of the things that astrology has given me so much is self-understanding, because I have always felt connected to my Taurus sun, and learning about how I have Saturn on my sun really opened a lot for me and just made it a deeper connection with things that I already knew. But learning about my moon sign, I have an Aries moon, and because I'm a Taurus sun and Aries moon, my moon is in my blind spot because I was born in a balsamic moon phase.
Mhm.
And so, and this has been a theme throughout my life. I'm a little different in that I came into astrology in my 40s. So a little later, like so many people, like at 5 years old, were into astrology. I was into Greek mythology and understanding the archetypes. And I mean, I read horoscopes, but really studying and understanding my moon just opened up so much to me, because a lot of times I wouldn't understand how I was feeling until like days or maybe even weeks later from an actual event. And I think a lot of times, like, I metabolized, I'm a Cancer rising. So learning that was big too, because I like absorb other people's emotions. I feel things deeply, but with Saturn on my sun, I just pulled up my big girl pants and acted like nothing was wrong, because in my childhood, that was a way of like a survival skill. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So, as an adult, being safe and being able to really explore myself in this Aries moon, which throughout life would pop out at times. Like, I got in trouble in third grade because I always wanted to be first in line going to going to the cafeteria or wherever we were going. Or like, yeah, always raising my hand in class. I always wanted to share. So I knew it, but I didn't know it. And
Right,
one of my
right.
first,
Let
oh,
me
sorry.
dig into that for a moment, because the moon in Aries ruling the Cancer rising, and the Cancer rising sign being sensitive and moody and emotional in a way that reminds me a little of my astrology, where I've got this really strong Aries and really strong Pisces. And when you're young and you have that fire and that water, I that's really hard. I mean, I remember how hard it was to be both fiery and independent, but also so sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
experienced that as well, I assume.
definitely. Yes. Yeah. And, getting like little girls are not supposed to be fiery. They're supposed to just be sweet and docile and da da da. And I was very calm. Like, I was always like my head in a book and blah, blah, and whatnot. But like yeah, this
But yeah, but
independent
I mean,
spirit. I wanted to
A
speak up.
Taurus sun with Saturn and a Cancer rising. This attunes you to be grounded and stable and not want confrontation and want people to like you and feel it when they don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
But the emotions, then that moon, like you say, running into line in front of somebody, me first, me first. I know, I got the answer. That kind of puts you in situations that the rest of you has difficulty handling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's been a theme. Yes. But yeah, so Rebecca Gordon from New York City was one of my first astrologers. And in her first level of her program, she had assigned to us to follow the moon. And so I got this Moon Deluxe app, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do it, but whatever. Because, I feel like the moon gets short shrift sometimes. Like, and it's just as important as the sun. And for some people, maybe even more important. And it took around 6 weeks or so, or maybe even longer, for me to start really seeing, and part of it's because I'm a Cancer rising. Oh my God, seeing things come to life, like, oh, the moon is in Leo. It's easier to see the yang energies, and noticing how people are out and about, and like they're just like they're gesturing more, and they're they're like more red and more red lipstick, and the temperature goes up. And for me, that's my second house. And then you start to see, oh my God, I'm normally doing financial stuff just
Mm.
naturally when the moon is in Leo. Or like I beat myself up. For people who don't know, I had this like corporate career for many years in sales and marketing where it was like go, 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 more, so solarly focused. And like when the moon is in Pisces, I just wanna take things slow, like feel, get quiet within, and I'd be working sometimes and be like totally unmotivated, distracted, and like would beat myself up. Why can't, there's repeating themes about me like not being able to focus as well, and starting to understand and then plan around my schedule around. Now can't always plan, but um, I feel like it helped my productivity just really go up and up and up, and just like my stress level go down and down and down, and just feel just more at peace when I started moving and flow with my natural cycles, just myself.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense to me. And that's also something I assign to all of my astrology students is to follow the sun and when it's in each house over
Mhm.
the year, and the moon, and really start to see how the moon operates for you in different signs. Because I had a real awakening around that when I was in relationship with someone who had South Node in Pisces conjunct the Sun in the second house of money, resources, skills. And I have the moon conjunct Mercury in Pisces in the 12th house. And every month when the moon went into Pisces, I just wanted to get in the bathtub, go swimming, read a book, eat some chocolate. Don't bother me. I want to be in my little fantasy world. If you feel super sensitive, I don't want to go anywhere. And this person would like take off like a wild person, doing art, doing projects, wanting to go places, wanting to do things, like manic, literally, when the moon went into Pisces. And it was a
Mm.
huge problem in our relationship because we were on completely different planets. And that was really in a visceral way when I started to realize that we all have a completely different reaction to the moon depending on where our natal moon is, where it is in our chart. Like you could even if you didn't want to know a lot about astrology, if you just follow the sun and the moon. And I think especially for us, the moon, they say that in a patriarchy, the sun becomes the most important thing. And that's what's happened here in our world. As people say, what's your sign? They just assume sun sign. But in a matriarchy, the moon is the most important. And especially for women and feminine oriented people, we need to know who we are on that lunar level. And that's what you're bringing forward in your track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like part of my life, like I naturally learned a little bit about the impulsiveness of my Aries moon before I even realized what it was. But now recognizing it, I mean, it just became life changing, just even following the moon. And then and then understanding what it meant to be a balsamic moon, and that, yeah, and understanding what like the cycles of my lunar returns brought in this additional level of information to help me understand myself. And then starting with following the moon cycles on the most simple basis, knowing where the new moon is and what house it's in, and, looking to, setting like just a few small intentions about what you want to bring forth in your life, rather than trying to do this, January 1st, I'm going to do XYZ and this is my year plan. It just that, and then like working with them from the new and the full to the full moon, at the full moon, taking time to see, okay, where was I then? Where am I now? What worked? What didn't work? And it just, this is what I used to move from my corporate career to become a full-time astrologer, because I had this huge undertaking that I decided I wanted to do. And it let me like break things up into manageable pieces so that, this month I focused on this part of the business, this month, this. And I feel like it helped me accelerate faster than if I just work it in a different way, because I was working in sync and in flow with my natal chart as well as the natural cycles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And let me take you back a moment to saying I'm a balsamic moon person, because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
balsamic moon person also. But I'm thinking some people who are watching this may have no idea what we're talking
Yeah.
about. So why don't you talk a little bit about the moon phase that people get born under and how that is so important to know what your moon phase is at birth, because it speaks so much of who you are, no matter what sign your sun and moon
Yes.
are. The phase is a whole energy in and of itself.
Yeah, so there are eight phases of the moon. And so let's just go like through each one. So every month, the sun and the moon come together and they whisper secrets to each other. And it's a dark moon because the sun's so bright. When the moon is standing next to it, you can't really see the moon. And the sun is our conscious mind, and the moon is more of our subconscious mind. So when they get together, they whisper secrets about what they want to bring into our lives. And when people are born during this phase, they're often very internal. Yeah. So even if you're an Aries, if you're born in an Aries new moon, you're probably like a little quieter than the typical Aries. It adds a flavor to your personality. And maybe with this, because the sun and the moon can also be representative of the sun, the father, the moon, the mother, and you see them as one unit, or you were born with a single parent, or there are a lot of other ways this can show up. But there also can be like this sense of being your own authority in some ways when you're born in a new moon, and like this crusader kind of or what is the right word for it?
Mm-hmm.
This energy of your unique own person. How would you call
Yeah.
it, Kay? Do you know what word I'm
Well, I
searching?
think of new moon people as like going for it.
Yeah.
It's like they're here on planet Earth and they've got a new agenda. It doesn't mean they're a young soul, but it means their project. Like I think of the moon phase as like your soul level project. And so you got a new project, you're all excited about it and you're sure you're going to do it. And then you get to Earth and you don't really know quite what you're doing yet, but you've got a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, and people are often attracted to that new moon energy. Yeah, and then 45 degrees, the moon pulls away from the sun, and then you've got the waxing crescent, which is a waning energy, but it's still a dark moon. But there's a little more light, like so the person has like similarities to the new moon, but they have a little bit more direction about where they want to go in the path that they want to get to. It's almost like they've got a little bit of cliff notes that the new moon person doesn't quite have yet. So that enthusiasm has a little bit more of a push forward to where they want to go. Yeah. What would you say anything else about that?
Yeah, no,
Collapsing?
I think that's accurate. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know, do you want to tell everybody everything about the moons or do you want them to come to your track?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I should go faster.
You want them to come to your track. You
Oh,
want,
there's
this
a
is the
lot
most
more
beautiful
to it.
resort. We have hot tubs on the balconies. We have hiking trails. We have fabulous food. We have people. So yeah, October 16th to 21st. I'm going to put a little commercial in for the track and Celeste, who is going to be talking about the moon. Okay, tell them about the first quarter moon.
Yeah, so the first quarter moon is when you look in the sky, and I highly recommend people to, when you're out and about, look for the moon, know where it's at. There are apps like Sky Guide and things like that, and like to develop a physical relationship with the moon, not just the intellectual relationship. And then you know where to turn to find it, and it can be a way to help you connect into with yourself. But the first quarter moon is the first of the bright phases, where as 1 second after the first quarter moon, there's more light than dark of the moon. If you look in the sky, it looks like a half quarter. And these are people who they can, like, that the sun and the moon are at a square, and they can, like, a lot of times when you're growing up, there's something about your parents may have been at odds, or like you're more like you're ready to rumble in a little bit of ways, or fight for your belief systems and
Right,
things like
because
that.
you come to the stress point with reality. You start to really know now, yes, you've got your idea, but the world and its reality is there, and you have to work very hard to find the creative solution, which is always the nature of the square.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, more likely to get into, a little bit of like a contentious or conflict with people. Is
Mhm.
just something that first quarter moons, like, oftentimes, why can't I get along with X, Y, Z, da 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 da. But understanding how that conflict between the two can really be enlightening. And based on the sign, it's different, you know. Yeah. And then the gibbous moon, where the moon is pregnant with possibilities, it looks almost full. It's like bursting. These people are so fertile with ideas, literally can be fertile with fertility, and like are here to connect with others. And depending, there's different, it can be more ease and flow, but there can be more of an energy of being able to connect with other people. But it's a bright phase. You're here to be out in the world and to connect with other people. There tends to be, something karmic about you and relationships, depending on how it's structured.
Yes,
Would you say
definitely.
anything?
Oh, yeah, that's totally my take on it. It's like you're almost a full moon person where things just go easily and you're totally successful almost without trying, but you need people. And so you're very relationship oriented in that phase, because you need the people to actually accomplish your soul level goals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the full moon, where they stand apart from each other, like this, all is illuminated, all is revealed. Now, this as well can be the parents are on opposite sides of the house, or I know to go to mom if I want this, or dad if I want that. But you learn how to, like, you can be just an oppositional person where you're always pitting yourself against other people, or you can learn how to massage and people in order to get what you want. And like, there's so many presidents who've been born at full moons, even lunar eclipses, because they learn through life how to work relationships, to either like bring people together to get what they want, to do all sorts of understanding of people. But they have, like, that's a big part of karma, learning how to relate to other people in whatever way they do. Would you say? I love how you
Mhm.
said that.
Yeah, totally. It's an ability to be successful through mediation and compromise and bringing those diverse energies together. So it's a wonderful moon to be born under.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you're waxing. And so this is growth. The energy is pushing out. And so when you're setting intentions between the new and the full moon, is where there's this internal energetic pull, and to do things. And like when you're launching something, launching it at, like, you do some of the planning and advertising, but you get a big splash if you're doing it during a full moon. Now, if you're wanting to do something you shouldn't do, and you do it during a full moon, you're more likely to get caught than when you do it under the dark of the new moon. And so these things, and as you watch the like, understanding the moon cycles and how this works can help you understand, like, the astrology of all of it better. And because I love talking about mundane astrology, and how things come to life, and how you see things
Mm.
happen, like with the action of the first quarter moon, and helping people understand that when I'm working with them one-on-one with coaching or with their astrology. It's it's like it's really helpful to get more understanding, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah. And then on the other side, I won't go as deep, but it's the same sort of thing on the other side, except the light is waning. So at the disseminating moon, which is a waning a gibbous moon, like these people are here to share what they learn. You think they're here to disseminate information, disseminate knowledge. Yeah. With the last quarter moon, it's the other side, but now it's waning 1 second after there's less light than there was before, and they feel like a little bit of an old soul, like they've been here before, they've seen it all. They're here to they're here to like integrate things and in some ways learn about themselves, but they also mm, they can be change makers because there's that square.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely there's a sense of testing, what you have accomplished, maybe in this life, but maybe in another life, that you've accomplished something and you're testing, making sure you've done everything that you needed to do in that phase. But yeah, you're on your way home. You're going back to soul level frequency, getting ready to take on your next agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the last phase, the balsamic moon, is the waning crescent moon. And it's very internal. The sky is there's that sliver of light going to darkness. These people, myself included, tend to be very intuitive, and can keep their own, like, yeah, can like sometimes be a little bit of a loner,
Mm-hmm.
not need others as much and be more internal. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sensitive. I mean, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when you see in a person's chart that they don't have like a lot of like water signs that would indicate strong psychic sensitivity or a lot of Virgo, but what they do have is the balsamic moon. And I find balsamic moon people are so super sensitive. Sometimes we're otherworldly, and we're the ones where everybody's saying, oh, let's go do this thing, it'd be so fun, and you're thinking, oh no, there's too many people there. I just want to stay home and pull the curtains over the window and read a book. And so yeah, we are all different. But if you're in the balsamic moon phase, one of the things to know about yourself is you have a very specific particular agenda of what you're wanting to do in this life. You are not taking on new karma, you are finishing. And there will be things people will suggest to you, oh, you should do this, or you're talented in that, and you'll go, no, that's not what I'm here for. And you will just keep working away at the relationships and the tasks and the accomplishments because you want to finish that particular agenda before you get to spend a little rest time in the cosmos again.
Yeah. So living my life, the balsamic moon is the last phase before the new moon. Yeah. So one of the first things we do in moon mastery is we learn all about the different moon signs, the phases, where it is in our chart for understanding ourselves. And then you can bring the chart of someone else with permission and to help you understand the other person. Yeah. So we're going to be doing
Mhm.
that. And then we're going to get to like understanding the progress moon, which speaks to where we are now in our lives. And learning about your progress moon can also blow the roof off your mind because it's about where you are now. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to have everybody's chart, and I'm going to bring stuff about your progress moon phases, and you're going to look back into key times in your life and understand, because it changes
Mhm.
every 28, 29 months. Your moon, progress moon, this is theoretical, but it really speaks to what emotionally is going on within you and what's going on in your life. And it goes through, it gives you a taste. You get to be all 12 signs emotionally every 30 years or so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's totally life changing. And if you learn the lessons in your progressed moon phase, you integrate those lessons into yourself. I still remember I found out I was in a progressed Virgo moon phase in my late 30s, and I was really a mess before then. I was a slob. I didn't care. I had everything, you know, strewn around the floor. I was very creative. But when I went through that progressed Virgo moon, I started alphabetizing my spices. And to this day, my drawers are cleared out, my spices are alphabetized. I have been a neatnik ever since then, because I had that moon phase and worked with it consciously. So that's something in your moon mastery retreat, in, you know, that you're going to be able to share with people, and people are going to be able to track their whole lives to see what they have accomplished over life and why, and what's coming up,
Yes.
right, in the near future, and how you can use it to build the life that you want, that's in alignment with your emotional nature, which I think of the emotional nature really connected to the soul, and what the soul is here to do.
Yeah, when I was in a progressed Pisces moon phase, there was this feeling, and it was like new into starting my business, not sure which way I wanted to go, but I could see the date of when my progressed moon was going to be in Aries, and understanding, okay, it helps you just know and set goals. Okay, when I get to there, I'll have a better idea of what I want to do. But it's okay. I'm in the unknowing exactly phase, trying things, testing things out. And the Pisces, there's always like endings and emptying out a little bit with that. And it's a little slow, but knowing that, okay, and what happened, like you will see sometimes to the day when there is a moon phase, like, because at the 29th degree is the anaretic degree of crisis and decay for each of the signs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when like things can really be changing and whatnot. And then you're in that new moon. Like the best example of this was like when Donald Trump got that big $80 million judgment from that woman, Jean Carroll, I think is her.
Mm-hmm.
He was at the 29th degree of Libra on the day he got that judgment. And the next day, his progressed moon went into Scorpio. And it's like, ooh, I've got all this debt. Where am I going to get I've got this bill, the eighth house obligation, financial. Where am I going to get this money from? Da, 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 da. Yeah, like, but in our own lives, there can be something not necessarily that big, but
Hopefully
something
not
when
that big. As a
yeah, when they
judgment.
change size. But when my progressed, I think it was when my progressed moon went into Aries, I was invited to be an astrology hub, or to apply to be an astrology hub guide. And it was like, that was one of my big goals. And I have an Aries midheaven. So when the progressed moon comes to your midheaven, it tends to be a good time in life where you're emotionally feeling like you are doing well at your job and like getting a sense of accomplishment. Or it could be opposite, but in general it's a good
In
time.
general, I would say when the progressed moon comes into a house, that in general you're moving into alignment with that house's um, activities in a way that feels good to your heart. You know, maybe if you're really off path, you have to realign and make some changes. But normally when the progressed moon comes to the 10th house, I see people get opportunities and feel good about what they've accomplished so far. And so I know we're coming closer to the end of our time. So
I could just go on and on and
I
on.
know you could go on and on. You're going to have 3 days to go on and on with people. So let me just tell people, if they're interested, go to opaastrology.org. All the details are there. You can read all about Celeste Track, and you can sign up there. There's also, you can read, I think, I don't know if Rick Levine has any spaces left. Lynn does not. Lynn Bell from France. Magali Morales has some spots. She's doing trauma in astrology and really going deep to help people with that. And orderly Christopher Renstrom. There's a very interesting track. Sam Reynolds, Kira Sutherland, Moon Zlotnick, who does really new information about the death chart and how death and grief affects us. And then we've got some fabulous peer group leaders and consulting skills training with me. That one spot left, I keep going, who wants that one spot? I always feel like the spots have names on them, and I'm just waiting for the people to show up. But if you want to take your astrological sessions, whether you're a new astrologer or you are more experienced, into more confidence and working with issues of cross-cultural awareness and communication skills. Even if you're a good communicator, as astrologers, we have very elite skills required to talk to someone, find out about them, give them the astrology information, listen actively. I mean, it's a dance. We are working on multiple levels as we do astrology. And so much to learn and so much fun to be had by hanging out with a group of astrologers in a beautiful nature setting.
Yes, it's going to be such a wonderful experience. And it's a smaller conference. So, like, we all will be together. So, you could be having lunch one day with Ann Ortley, Lynn Bell the next, Christopher Redstrup, me.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
no,
going to
we'll
be,
have about 100 people is really the size of this, and we'll go out to dinner together. There's one night where we have a banquet that's part of it, but we'll go out for dinner together. The townhouses have little kitchens in them. We can get food at Whole Foods and eat, so it's not always really expensive. So I am so looking forward to this. I love our retreats, and I'm very excited about this particular group of astrologers and the wealth of diverse topics that are being taught. So
yeah. And
yeah,
I can attest to your consulting skills is excellent. I've taken consulting skills with Kay, and it really has made me a better astrologer. I'm holding a better container with all of my clients. So I really highly recommend that as as yes, Jacqueline, if you work trauma, really check it out. Check it out. Check out the
mhm.
retreat. You don't have to come to mine. You can come. It's just going to be wonderful. It's going to be intimate, interactive. Like, I'm going to have a maximum of 9 people. I think I have 3 or 4 spaces still, and it's a discounted price till August 10th.
10th. Yes, yes, and that's one of the reasons that we wanted to make sure everybody knows about it, because prices go up and we have to, do room commitments around that time. So we need to know if people are interested. We've had the discount already, but we've also had some payment plans. And as long as it's paid by the time that we're actually going in October, we can make some arrangements on that. If so, yeah, we want to make this as accessible and available as possible to anybody who wants to come.
Yeah, and
So
people can share rooms to have a less expensive accommodations as well if they
yeah,
want.
yeah,
But it looks so beautiful. I'm so excited
yeah.
about this place. Now
Well,
I see there are a bunch of comments.
yeah.
Yeah, so
What do
maybe
you
we
want to
could.
say? Yeah, a beginner. Yes, we definitely have some tracks for beginners. In fact, I think the Moon Mastery workshop with Celeste is a very good one for beginners, because you're just like sort of honing in on the moon, which is important. And basically, there's a lot of simple, easy to understand information about it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody saying, where is it? It's in Park City, Utah. So it's about 30 minutes outside of the Salt Lake City airport. And it's in the mountains. The hotel we're in is kind of like a lodge where there's townhouses and suites. They have balconies with hot tubs. There's a big forest right behind. There's nature around. So we try to do our retreats with OPA in places where we can like be together in nature and enjoy that healing energy.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be amazing. October 16th through 21st. And I saw, let's see, yeah, and Moon Mastery is, I've had beginner astrologers through professional astrologers take Moon Mastery. and they all are learning things because it adds so much. Because eclipses, you'll learn all about eclipses. They're so important to understand and frame your year. You'll learn about the lunar nodes. Yeah, it's all of it. There's so much depth in the moon and her cycles. And one of the things I really try to help people is to, not just see, okay, to see how things work together, and like not just see things as, okay, today the moon is in Gemini. No, the moon is in Gemini, and next will be in Cancer. And depending on what else is going on in the sky, maybe you say something to someone sensitive, and as the moon changes from Gemini to Cancer, they start crying. And it'll help you. Or people are in a meeting and they're talking, and the moon's in Libra, and then somebody says something maybe they shouldn't have, or maybe something that makes people think, and the moon moves to Scorpio, and everybody's quiet and looking at each other and like, what's next? So learning to understand how this all flows together with the different elements and modes, and all of this can be really insightful and help you, I bet I know what's
it's
coming
so
up.
helpful. I'll give an example of the moon understanding too. Is, my South Node is in Cancer, and my daughter has her sun in Cancer exactly conjunct my South Node. And when the moon is in Cancer, we both become ultra sensitive, and we tend to have some kind of weird misunderstanding text message thing that happens. And when I know that the moon is coming to be in Cancer, like I'll send her a text and say, okay, we're going to stay calm and peaceful for the next couple of days. We're not going to talk about anything that's going to trigger us. If we start to get triggered, we're going to let it go. Remember, we love each other. And then we get through that. But, again and again, it repeated that we would have this weird argument or fight every time the moon was in Cancer. Crazy.
Oh, Amari Martin's in the house. Hi, Amari. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I missed anything else. We just have a couple more minutes, but thank you for all of. I see there's some great comments. Yeah, Kristen talked about losing her brother when her progressed moon in Pisces came to her IC in a car accident. Yeah. That's yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the bright yellow. Okay, good. Yeah. So, well, Kay, this has been so great. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
definitely
allowing
fun.
me to
I
talk
always
about my
like talking
favorite
to you.
subject.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what astrologers do, right? We just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, so let's tell everybody one last time. You can find out either at the link in my bio or go to opaastrology.org to learn about the OPA retreat. If you have any questions, you can DM me, and even if you want to talk one-on-one, I can set up a discovery call with you to make sure it's right for you. I only want people coming calling in the people who this will be a life-changing experience for, and will help change your my relationships with other people got so much better after I started working with the moon, being more grounded and peaceful in life, as well as having more success and abundance, and
Yeah.
pleasure.
Oh, thanks for the comment on our colors. Yeah. I like our colors. It's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, hopefully we will see you somewhere, right? We'll see you at the retreat or at some other event that Celeste or I are doing.
Yeah.
And we send you lots of love.
Yes. And if you can't join OPA. It's such a wonderful organization, only $80 a year, and so many amazing offerings. Yeah. Okay. Take good care, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much, Kay.
Thank you. See you soon.
Sounds
Bye-bye.
good. Bye.